Stops now.
Mr. Disraeli. Mark. All Royal Highness, what a pleasure to see you here. Have you met Mr. Lyle? He's in sugar? I don't think I've had that pleasure.
Mr. Lyle, a fascinating
No doubt you've heard the rumors. I take no account of gossip, Your Highness. My concern is the reputation of the monarchy. Fear the influence he has on her. Man's word is not to be credited. He's an airy beast at the very lowest water. You know, she's having a bust cast on in Nero Marquino marble. I thought to myself what she meant to be. She must be persuaded by someone she respects to abandon this ridiculous favoritism before a situation develops. A situation? I don't imagine you frequent the Republican clubs, but the fact that neither you nor I are members should not blind us to the significance of their existence. The Tory party has always been our party. I'm flattered you think so. I tell you, if you don't stick together on this, you could very well find yourself first president's opposition. You really only need. Right. I really don't think we can overstate the seriousness of this. What did he want? To know when he'll be king.
So, Grant and myself are riding over Loch Nagar on the worst imaginable night. The rain is coming down in sheets, and all we can think about is getting home for a wee drink. Suddenly, through the gloom, Grant sees a couple of poachers, gives me the shout, and we were off. Galloping down the hill after them, we chased them right down to the loch side. He got there first, leaps off his horse like a man possessed, grabs the two unfortunate men by the throat against the stack. He was shouting, he was swearing at the top of his voice. He looks into the eyes of the smallest one and he says, "Why are you poaching in royal land?" And the poor wee man looks up at him, completely terrified, and says, "Because we've come up in the world."